This week, to help us understand the universe and that God created it by his words, we're going to look at Jupiter. Jupiter is a gas planet, so we can't stand on it because it has no solid surface. It's mostly made up of liquid hydrogen. It has 67 confirmed moons, but an estimated of 200 natural moons, which we can't see because they're smaller. It's got 4 major moons, which we have called the Galilean moons. It's the third brightest object in the sky, so we can see it easily. And if you look through a telescope at Jupiter, you might see little lights spinning around it, and these are these 4 Galilean moons. What's amazing that these 4 moons are vastly different. One of them is really hot and it's got volcanoes all over it and lava, and another one is very cold and it's mainly ice and some saltwater sea. Jupiter is actually the largest planet in our solar system, but actually when we start to look into it, largest doesn't really give it justice. So when you look at the size of Jupiter, it's 318 times the size of Earth, or 2.5 times the size of all of the planets in our solar system combined together. It's not just large, it's enormous. And the atmosphere on Jupiter is mainly gas, as it's a gas planet, and it's made of hydrogen and helium. Now these gases cross with clouds which are full of ammonia, and they swirl in opposite directions, which generates these big storms, and these storms can have winds of up to 224 miles an hour. The most distinct feature of Jupiter that I have always known is this red spot, the dot in the centre, as you can see in the pictures. Now this is actually a storm, and in the late 19th century this storm and this spot on Jupiter was 3 times the size of Earth. Now it's only one size of Earth and it's much more rounded. So if you look at the 2 pictures here, you can see the difference in its shape. I always thought that it was just a pattern that was on the planet. I didn't realise that it changed. It also changes colour from time to time as well. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's pink, orange, and even sometimes white. Jupiter spins very, very fast. Considering it's the largest planet, it does a full rotation within 10 hours. It also has intense pressure, which is 2 million times the pressure that we have in our atmosphere. And this pressure reacts with the gas of hydrogen and makes it into a liquid, which then acts like a metal. And these 3 things together, the spinning fast, the intense pressure, and that hydrogen liquid, when they're all reacting together, they generate a magnetic field. Now this magnetic field can reach 2 million kilometers outside of itself, outside of the Jupiter. So it's pulling in any electrically charged particles from the sun and from its own moon. So it acts like a huge magnet. And this magnetic atmosphere generates what's called a bow shock, which is a very dangerous belt of radiation. So if any spacecraft goes within that belt, it would explode, it would damage it, it wouldn't survive. Also, Jupiter has rings, something I didn't know about either, and these rings are formed from all the particles that it's pulling into itself, and they go smaller and bigger, and as the magnets are pulling these particles, they go into the ring, and then it pulls them even deeper into its core. So the ring goes smaller, and then it regenerates itself by pulling more material from the sun and its moons, so that the ring stays there, and it just keeps on doing that process. Absolutely amazing. So another amazing planet that is totally different from all the others that we've looked at so far. For me, it increases my faith to believe that all things are created by the word of God. And when I think about the theories that people do believe that all these planets were evolved from some dust and banging together, and I just can't believe it. And I hope that you can see this too. But what is mainly important is that God created everything.